Alright, we got a glycol unit that is pushing seven ice cream machines downstairs. That is 14 barrels. Intermittently, all of them are acting up, especially during their peak times. So last night when the place got busy and all the ice cream was pulling, they started shutting down. Look at the pressure gauge. Either there's air intrusion into the system somewhere, or the pump is going bad. I had an air intrusion problem from here, and then we jumped up back to about 18 psi and we were holding, and then last night she kicked up again. So let's dig in. Well, that was fun. All right, what I just did is I took the cap off while it was running, and I just filled it. And I filled it, and I filled it, and it burped a little bit. I filled it, it burped. I filled it, it burped. Then I put the cap on it, shut it down. Now we're sitting still at about 14 psi, 13 psi. I don't know exactly where this unit's supposed to live. Generally speaking, they'd say between 10 and 20 psi on a glycol system. So we're getting pretty well pure glycol here. I'm not moving air anymore. We're not bouncing everywhere. Okay, I just did another round of fill and vent. And I got a couple more big burps out of her, leaving that open and filling it. As it cycles through, it really shouldn't overflow, because it should come in, right? It comes in there and then into the system. So if we have a solid stream flowing, then eventually that should just straight overflow and bubble consistently. What I was getting was a little blub. So I didn't want to shut it down, because then they're going to lose all their machines. So I just kept kind of forcing it. I lost some glycol, so we'll bring the hose up and we'll wash all this off, because it's a strip center, right? You can't leave the roof jacked. But after that, now we're sitting steady at 20. I like that. I turned that thermostat up. I'm surprised that thermostat works at all, because it's rubbed right there. But it didn't blow the cap tube, it still works. So I turned it up to 100. We are steady, 20 psi now. All right, this is our pretty great glycol system, actually. Okay, we've got city water backup in, which is off. Glycol running in, okay, and into the machines, and then out, which is warmer. So this is just an air chilled, so it's not going to be cold, but it's going to be ambient. What I wanted to do, and it took me a couple adapters to get there, I wanted to put a pressure monitor here. And in here, we got no water pressure. Check this out. If I close that, she starts stacking up. So, let's go up to the roof and see what it says. It says I've still got 20 here. I imagine that's on the pushing side, right? And where I'm measuring it out down below is on the pulling side. there isn't an access for me to get anywhere else downstairs. I wonder if that's the fluctuation of multiple units kicking on. Out which units downstairs kick the most often. They've all been throwing the air sporadically, but if there's some more than others, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the testo to it, see what head pressure it's running. It's possible you have failing water valves downstairs, but it's also possible that this pump is giving out. I was going to check the amp draw on it, then I kind of abandoned that thought, but let me do it while we're just letting them run. It's about 5 o'clock, 5:30. They're going to start to get busy down there, and it's when all the units get called for that she struggles the most. So now that I got 20 PSI sitting on it, is that enough to keep them running? The only way to tell is to be here when it's running. I know it's loud, you may not be able to hear me at all. 4.2 amps. And I'm connected to the center conduit, which is that. All right, I just pulled the manufacturer specifications on this because it comes in different options. And you'll notice that there's 2850 RPMs and 3450. So I had to look that up by the serial number, and this is what I got. So absolutely can confirm the motor is supposed to be pulling a maximum of 4.1 amps. We need to replace the motor. They've got a big event. They have to pull like 700 cups of custard. It may make sense for them to kill the glycol unit, run on city water for a few days. It's Friday after hours. By the time I find this pump, it ain't gonna be here till Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe. Maybe she'll stay online, but we can't risk it crashing on them tonight. I think I'm gonna talk to the owner, and then if this thing starts junking out, it's Friday night. If it can't hold up tonight, then they need to kill the glycol unit downstairs and run city water, which kills the water bill, but they have to be able to pull product. So I guess if I was paying better attention, I could have come here. Hey look, 4.2 amps, 2013, and the thing is, it's the same with those two fans. Now I'm sure those motors have been replaced, but I don't think that pump has. So that thing just runs 24 hours a day for 11 years. Getting tired, boss. I mean, I think it's fixed. I think it's fixed. I think we're holding 20 PSI in there. I think it'll run. But it also numerically says it's tired. This barrel specifically is not freezing all the time. It looks like it doesn't freeze when this one's running. Here's my pressures. So my pressures are spot on. I mean, my pressure is actually a little high, but it's hot outside, so you're dealing with high ambient. Again, it's not a chiller system, it's just a water system. Okay, so this left barrel, it's -6. It's doing its job. So what I've actually done is put separate probes on 2 different units so I can watch them run and compare one that's not throwing any errors to one that is. And to be honest, right now they're running identical. Alright, I was just on the phone with Mr. Stolting from the factory. And he said from experience, when they don't use the right fittings, these can rust and clog up. That's not what's happened. Everything looks good in there, all the way to the valve. So, I put gauges on 4 units. That one, this one, and the one on the end, all on the high side. And they're all running like 278, 280. So, which is too high. It's got to be a water problem. It has to be a water system problem. But it's hard to explain to them that there's a water system problem when it hasn't been for 11 years. And all of a sudden it is. So, we haven't thrown any runtime errors. I'm going to go restart this one that I turned off. Let's restart this guy. Freeze and freeze. Come on. On, freeze, on, freeze. There you go. And let's take this guy and turn it around. Spoiler alert. Shameless plug. They deserve it.